here, and today we are going to chat all about breathing, or pranayama. So this week in the Seasonal Living Collective, we're going to dive deep into the breath practices. Why it's important with that vata dosha is sometimes the vata dosha, we can get really into our heads and not into our body. And so these breath practices that I'm going to share with you today, these can be ways that we connect back in. Now, I'm going to share 6 different ideas. You're going to be pulled towards one of these, or maybe 2 of them. So I'll share, some of my favorite ones and which ones I usually practice. Some of them are easier to practice, and if you work in a corporate environment, you can easily slip into these and no one would even know, to help calm yourself down, to put you into a parasympathetic system, which is where we rest and digest. So we're not in fight or flight. So an example of this would be, yesterday I was working on stuff for refinancing for the house. Not my favorite thing, not my wheelhouse. And I could feel old patterns of me from high school. I also hated math. And I could feel the fleet. Like I just wanted to run. I wanted to be done. My body was like, I'm out of here. Like, let me hand this off to someone else. Only there is no one else. I mean, my husband, yes, but he's probably even worse than I am at figuring out how to do this stuff. So I knew I had to stay in my body. So I chose a breath practice. I was going to exhale twice as long as my inhale to help calm myself back down. Let's look at the facts and the figures and figure this out. And I was able to, because I calmed my nervous system down and I didn't have that flee, because that is my pattern. And we each have a pattern, which you might start to notice. Like we have a pattern where we might be, whatever that situation is for you. So for me, I can always tell if it's something that's really hard. Usually it has to do with numbers and I'm just not quite understanding. I want to flee. And so that's my response. Some people might be fight. You might want to stay there and just fight and engage, online via words. Usually it's not necessarily fist fighting, but you feel feisty, and that could be your response. So these breaths can help bring us back into our body, especially when we feel a little scattered and out of sorts. So why would we do breath practices? Well, they help lower our stress, lower our anxiety. They improve our lung function. They release any stuck energy that we might have in us. And so sometimes the energy gets stuck in shoulders, hips, and they improve our cognitive function. So we're able to process through some decisions. I share a little bit more about the benefits of each breath, but in general, those are the benefits of all of these breaths. So the first breath I want to share with you today is 4 square breath. So what that's going to look like is you're going to inhale for a count of 4 through your nose. You'll hold at the top, so meaning you're going to hold your breath for a count of 4. You'll exhale through your nose for a count of 4. And then you'll hold that breath out and just kind of hold the breath again for a count of 4. So you can see you're kind of I envision a square whenever I do my 4 square breath. So inhale for 4, hold at the top for 4, exhale through the nose for 4, holding at the bottom for 4. And a lot of these breath practices, we're breathing in and out through the nose versus the mouth. We do have one for the mouth, which I'll share a little bit. There's a little bit more reasoning why you'd want to do that one, but most are through the nose, and again, that's to help bring us down. So that's the 4 square breath. Another one of my personal favorites, is making the exhale twice as long as the inhale. So you might breathe in for a count of, let's say, 3. So you inhale for a count of 3 through your nose. Now I'm going to exhale through my nose for a count of 6. Inhale for a count of 3, exhale for a count of 6. And I would keep repeating that process. Maybe I would extend it to 4 and 8. So maybe I inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 8. It's going to vary. And all of these breath practices, you can do them for 1 minute, you can do them for 10 minutes, you can do them for 20 minutes. Most are completely safe to do for 20 minutes. I don't know if many people are going to do them that long, but if you only have time for a minute, I'd rather err on the side of doing it versus not. So just give it a shot. The next one is a 3-part breath. This one can be a little tricky, so I like to have people learn it when they're laying down on their stomachs. So laying down on your stomach, you can do this in bed, and if you're on your stomach, you'd put your forehead on your hands, and I'll just kind of explain what you do. So for a 3-part breath, we breathe in through the lower part of the belly. So we take an inhale in, breathe in, feel your belly expand like a balloon. With that same breath, you breathe into the ribs. You feel your ribs expand out like an accordion. Still with that same breath, you breathe into the chest cavity. you feel that chest expand. You release from the top first. So you release from your chest cavity. Then that same breath, you release through the ribs, and then release down through the low belly. So again, you inhale in, belly, ribs, chest expand. Exhale, releasing chest, ribs, belly. And so again, on the earth, you can feel a little bit better because you can feel your belly connect to the earth. You can feel your ribs hit the earth. You can feel that chest rise and fall. So that's sometimes an easier way to practice when you're first learning 3-part breath. And do not be discouraged if you don't get this. Like this one took me a year before I was finally able to get that breath releasing from the chest first. So this one can take some time, it can take practice. So don't get discouraged if you're like, I can't do it right. That's totally normal for that one. All right, so circular breath is next. Now this one, I'm gonna be honest, this is not my favorite, but I know other people who love it. So circular breath is you inhale and there's no pause, like how we paused at the 4 square. So you inhale in through your nose and then exhale right out through the nose. Inhale back in. And then you can count, and maybe you want to make that, evenly inhaling and exhaling for a count of 4, 5, 6, whatever that would feel great in your body. So it's just a circle that you're going through. So for me, and this can also drive up, Ayurvedically speaking, the vata. So it usually gets me a little bit more anxious for myself. Again, that's not going to be the case for everyone. If you feel calmer with that breath, that is a good breath for you to practice. Myself, I know I just get a little bit, I feel anxious doing that breath because I feel like I can't quite do it. I'd rather do the 4 square. But I know people don't like to hold their breath, so 4 square might drive up your anxiety. So you kind of have to play with which breath feels best for you. All right, the next one, actually I'm going to save the alternate nostril one for last, just because sometimes you need a Kleenex after that one. This one is the pursed lips. So I included this one in there because this is a pitta one. It's really good for pitta dosha, so it's that fiery dosha. So if you're feeling a little intense and maybe you are the fighter and that's your response when you're in fight or flight, breathing out through pursed lips are going to help with that. So you'd inhale in through the nose, and then you make pursed lips kind of like you're kissing or blowing out a candle. Breathe in through the nose. That's a cooling breath. So it's really good in the summer, but that's also, again, if you feel that heat, if you feel the heat in your body and you need to get some of it out, the pursed lips will get some of that heat out and extract it. All right, now finally the last one, alternate nostril breathing. I love this one as well. This is one that I was informed, because I do work with a lot of senior citizens. Over the age of 60, this is something that you should do every day. This is really good for massaging out kind of the internal organs as well as the brain, so it keeps the brain sharp. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and close your right nostril with your thumb. You can put your pointer finger and your middle finger at your third eye, so that spot between your eyebrows. You'd inhale in through the left nostril, and I envision the breath going up to that third eye. I close my left nostril with my ring finger. I exhale out, releasing my right thumb. Exhale out the right side. Inhale in the right side. I breathe up to here. I close the right side. Exhaling out the left. Inhale in through the left. Close it. And we always finish this one by exhaling out the right side. And then I usually like to pause, have people close their eyes. And usually you can feel, you're a little bit more even, your nostrils are a little bit more open on both sides. So usually you always start by inhaling through the left side, and you always finish by exhaling through the right side. So if you do forget it, usually you finish with the opposite of you started. Usually, again, it's the left side that is traditionally taught to start on. So those are the breath practices. I hope that one of those or two of those really stuck out to you and you feel like this could be something that you incorporate into your day. Also great to teach to kiddos. I know that for myself, like you might say, like the pursed lips ones, you might be telling a child to blow out a birthday candle or to blow on pretend. I actually give my son like a cup, and there's not always something in it, but he blows on it like he is like trying to get out or to cool down his drink. And so that could be something that you do with kiddos. Bear breath is one that you can do with kiddos. You call it bear breath, but it's really just inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And it doesn't have to be for any set time for them. So that is your pranayama practices to try. Try a few on. Let me know how they go. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the Facebook group. All right? Thank you all.